Stephanie Bain, I have a books. I'm a book nerd. There's so many books. Hello everyone, today's video is going to be my review on Outlander and / blah 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 Dragonfly and Amber, because there are 8 books in the series at the moment. I don't know if there's going to be more. If there is, holy shit, it's gonna like consume my entire life to read them all. Anyway, I decided to do a review for this because I thought a book talk would just be a little too long, and I think reviews are just much easier to sit down and watch because they tend to be shorter, so I don't want to keep going. For those of you who don't know or are new to my channel, I am in love with this book, this series so far. It's amazing. I love it. I love the romance. I love the world and all that stuff. But if you haven't actually seen the show or read the book and you're curious whether you should, well, you should do both. One or the other would make me happy, by the way, too. But anyway, this book is about a woman named Claire Randall in 1945. It's after the war. Her and her husband go to Scotland because they have been away for the past 6 years, and they're doing kind of like a second honeymoon anniversary thing. I don't remember which day. I think it's a honeymoon, they consider it. And, you know, things happen. She goes to a bunch of rocks on Craignadoon rocks, and she gets transported back to 1743 Scotland. So much happens. Now, for those of you who may not know exactly what genre this is romance. It's like a historically kind of romance. That's fiction. Because this stuff doesn't really happen, does it? No, but first thing is, if you don't watch the show, I would say it's probably going to be a little difficult to visualize it. I mean, unless you have references to Scotland, at least the landscaping and all that stuff, it may be easy for you. But if you don't, like, if you have no idea, I would say just look up some pictures, watch a couple episodes, even if you're not completely interested, but you do want to read the book. Just because that's something that I found easy for me, just because I saw the show. But if I hadn't seen the show, I would have been like, yeah, that's going to be a little difficult to imagine everything and how it works. First off, Diana's handwriting is beautiful. I think that the characters are so vivid and so full. I mean, this is one of those things where when it comes to like character development and the descriptions of the characters themselves and whatnot, and this is probably the best I've ever seen in that sense. You know what I mean? The characters in the series are so well rounded, and they're not perfect or anything. It's just that it's just so easy to imagine them, and they honestly do feel like real people and not just characters in a book, you know, that they're not real or anything. It does feel that, and you know, that's just something I think that really I just loved the most. The things that they do are realistic, the decisions they make are realistic, and that's something that I truly like found to be just like a breath of fresh air when it came to this series. And another thing is that I absolutely love is just the flow of her writing. It all makes sense. It flows in beautifully, flashbacks, whatever it is, everything just is seamless and it kind of goes with it. I found the first book to be very fast-paced, very engaging. I flew through it, but I've also known people who this took a while to read. So it does, I think, depend on what you think is interesting and what you think is fast-paced. The romance is not cliched at all. I want to say this romance is probably like the most beautiful romance I've ever read about or seen in a movie. It tops it all because if you read it and you know it, or you see the show, you know that it didn't just start off as a typical romance, and I think that's something that I loved. It's something that grew realistically. This is not a book for children, that is for sure. I don't know if your parents would let you if you're under the age of 17, probably not, but there are some sexy times in this book, so I do recommend that you are older than 17, 16, 17, you know, to read this. And I hope you guys enjoy Outlander as much as I did, but of course no one has to love it. So I do believe this was a great start in a series. Again, let's recap. The world is beautiful and vivid. The characters are vivid. The romance is realistic. The drama is realistic, and it's so like, oh my god, keeps you on the edge of your seat. You don't know what's gonna happen. And the thing is this is not a fluffy romance. This is one of those, if you do end up falling in love with it, you are going to see how this book, and so far for me, the series has been like, just like, oh my god, it has totally ruined me in the best way possible. And, you know, those who read understand what I'm coming from. So, 5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was great. I do not have not one bad thing to say about this book. Let's move on to Dragonfly and Amber. Here's Dragonfly and Amber. Now, of course, I cannot tell you what this book is about for spoilery reasons. I am just going to say that the characters are still amazing. The plot is scarily amazing, and the writing is consistent. Everything's consistent. I have to say that, you know how sometimes you kind of get into a series, the second book kind of or it gets really better. This is just so like consistent, because the first book's already amazing, the second book keeps it, but there's a downfall to this book. It is a much slower read. First like third of the book, no, let's divide it into fourths. The first fourth of the book I found very fast. I wanted to know what was going to happen because I was slightly freaking out. And the last fourth of the book, I was like, oh my god, what's going to happen? This is getting so good. And I couldn't put it down. But that middle, pretty much like, let's say, I don't know how to divide this evenly into 4. So let's just say like a gist. Like I'm obviously just guessing. But this right here was a very slow read. It took me a while. I pushed through it. And the thing is, it's not that it was a bad slow read. It's an amazing slow read, but it was much slower. The plot wasn't as fast. Everything was more like, okay, calming down. You know, it was the calm before the storm. That is a perfect description. But I do believe that this was a great, I mean, well thought out, planned, executed second book in a series. I cannot wait to pick up the third one, but I do need to pace myself. So, I mean, there's not much I can say about this one other than the fact that it is a 5 out of 5 stars. Again, the characters are amazing, and everything just kind of flowed so well, and I was not expecting to love the second book because I've had my issues with second books in the past. But it was so great, and it honestly will just keep you wanting more. And if you've made it through it, congratulations, because this is one heck of a book to get through. And the third book is even bigger than this one. But that is, in all honesty, my review for Outlander and Dragonfly and Amber by Diana Gabaldon. I hope you guys pick it up if you're interested. Again, it's not just a fluffy romance. It is definitely one of those all-encompassing, life-destroying, in the best way possible romances, and everything else is just a plus on top of it. So I hope you guys have a great day, reading day, whatever day, and if it isn't, then I hope it gets better. But I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.